Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Bold Toro Entertainment is proud to bring you yet another Spellweaver tournament gameplay. Today, we've got round 3 action between the Vortex and Sonneillon, also apparently Dragomir. Dragomir in-game Sonneillon on the forums. So, why don't we dive right on into this? This is round 3 in the winner's bracket, people. We're closing in on the end of the tournament. Now, this one did come with some sounds, so I'm going to do my best to try and mix it properly. Hopefully it works. So, why don't we dive right on in? We're going to hit play. Or not Dragomir, nope, Sonneillon. Forget I said, again, I'm watching this live just like everyone else is. So apparently there's some sound going on in the background. Player did not accept. Alright. So while we wait for this, oh, there we go. Alright. So game 1, we've got Basic Neva versus Advanced Neva, and Basic Neva seems to be running Corruption Nature. Aggro, it appears. Some kind of aggressive tempo deck with some bounce. Okay, well, that kind of shows a whole different side of it now, doesn't it? Now he's got some Mesmerizing Spirits, he's got some Succubus. Looks like Sonneillon's going to be playing the exact same deck. So he goes for a Corruption level and it passes the turn. Sonneillon's got a Plague Vermin, which is a very good control sort of creature. And he's got the Infected Survivor for yet another 1/1. So he's gonna swing in for 1. Vortex is gonna take it because he has no other option. And that'll end it for Sonneillon. Draws a Shrine. I'm gonna go for the mana. It's another Mesmerizing Spirit. He's gonna toss one of the Mesmerizing Spirits back and get an Enchanted Spring. That's gonna be both of his ability land or shrines in his hand, which could pay off in the late game, but we'll see if we reach the late game, considering Sonneillon's early, strong early board. So he's gonna play for the nature level and play a Mesmerizing Spirit, attack Sonneillon's hand, and have a way of trading with the Plague Vermin, or at least forcing Sonneillon to sacrifice the Plague Vermin. Let's see what Sonneillon has here. Sonneillon has a Flesh Sculptor, which is going to turn... Oh, that's a crazy combo. It sacrifices the Plague Vermin, which turns it into a 2/2. Oh, man. That's a combo. That's going to be tough for Vortex to deal with. He draws a Plague Vermin. No, that's really not going to help him, because if he sacrifices it to kill off the infected survivor, it just gives him 2 zombies. So Vortex is going to force Sonneillon to discard another card, and it's a second Tornado Outbreak he discarded. Not that he'd want to bounce that back to Vortex's hands to play it again and allow him to discard again. So we'll see what Sonneillon's got. He's got another Flesh Sculptor. And I think Vortex is just going to concede. I think that's what he was going to do. And the Noxious Fumes. So that's 7 coming at Vortex. And Sonneillon is showing lethal. And I absolutely doubt Vortex's ability to come back at this point in the game. Boy, it really seems like aggressive decks are really overrunning this tournament. It seems whenever there's a slightly slower deck versus an aggressive deck, the aggressive deck just like wins instantly. It's almost a guaranteed thing, you know what I mean? Well, we'll go on into game 2. And I believe Vortex will be on the play again. Ooh, there's a Dread Knight. There's a card I don't get to see enough of, just because it's pretty much just too slow these days. If you're paying 4 mana and 3 levels, it's almost better to just pay the extra level and get the Karthos instead of the Dread Knight. Don't get me wrong, love Dread Knight. I love the card. I wish it saw more play. I'm just saying that given the current meta, it just doesn't. I mean, it has its places, but it doesn't see enough play, is what I'm getting at. Yeah, he's probably going to want to get rid of the Dread Knight because he's not playing it for another, like, 4 or 5 turns. Rather get the strong 2/2 speed 3 creature out. Probably not going to see many, ooh. Ooh, he gets rid of the Reanimate. Not sure I would have done that. Personally, I think I would have pitched off either Succubus or Fae of Charms. Well, maybe not Fae of Charms, because he runs both Noxious Fumes and Plague Vermin. But I probably would have gotten rid of the Succubus and then maybe reanimated it next turn. Then again, I don't know what's in Vortex's deck, so maybe, maybe he was just looking for something different. You know what I mean? Maybe he's got something else in mind. So we'll see what Sonnellion's got now. 6 cards in hand, 3 mana. Another Mesmerizing Spirit. There goes the Jungle Death Trap. That gets sacrificed. Well, discarded, I should say. Sacrificed from the hand. And a Noxious Fumes for the pony, the unicorn. I'm sorry, people. Sometimes I just have brain farts. Don't we all? Ooh. I thought Fae of Charms had to be involved in the attack in order to have her use her ability. It helps to read cards. We have a phrase in the card games I used to play. It says RTFC, which stands for read the blank card. I'm pretty sure you guys can figure out what the F stood for. But so he's going to swing in for 2. Has played double Flesh Sculptor, so that means that it's bad news for whenever Vortex wants to try and remove one of Sonnellion's creatures. Again, I'm probably mispronouncing Sonneillon. It's probably, it's probably got some kind of a second Fae of Charms. Or Fae of Charm. Yeah, Charms? Charm. Okay, Fae of Charm. It's going to take the other Flesh Sculptor and swing in for 3. Bing. Bing. Doesn't get... Flesh Sculptor... I thought Flesh Sculptor would have given at least one zombie. I mean, if you have both of them out. There. And Sonnellion Scoops. I've got to reread Flesh Sculptor. I think it's a... I know it's a non-token creature, but a non-zombie creature? Maybe Flesh Sculptor's a zombie? I don't know. Tell me how much I'm wrong and how terrible at this game I am in the comments below. But that's interesting. Of course, were I actually playing this game, I would have sat down. I would have taken a chance to read Flesh Sculptor before making any decisions. But since I'm just sitting here commentating and being a general... Well, I'm trying to keep this channel PG, so I won't say what I'm being, but... Anyway. So we've got a Riding Remains against a Mesmerizing Spirit. Sonnellyon was on the play, so we'll see what Sonnellyon has this time around. He's got a nature. There's a Flesh Sculptor. I would love for him to mouse over the Flesh Sculptor so I could see what it does, but what exactly it does, I should say. I know what it does. It summons out zombie tokens, but how exactly its wording is what I would have been interested in knowing. That's what I meant to say. So he's got a chance of playing Blood Witch Harpy, Splitting Headache, or Mesmerizing Spirit this turn. He goes with the Blood Witch Harpy and swings in for 2. Now Sonnellyon has Flesh Sculptor in the back row within support row, which means it can't attack. That's an important note to make. But it's just going to sit there and pump out tokens, especially with Blood Witch Harpy in play. It's an interesting counter to Blood Witch Harpy's ability. You play creatures that you know are going to get sacrificed when they turn into zombies. or you can just sacrifice the zombies in order to protect some more important creatures. An infected survivor and a venerated unicorn. Both players have venerated unicorns in their deck, and both of them haven't really had any reason to play them because neither of them are playing spells or artifacts. So we'll see what Vortex has here. Could go with just creatures to have more bodies to block with, or he could go with the Blood Witch Harpy. He decides to go with the Blood Witch Harpy and the Plague Vermin. So Sonneillion's going to be forced to sacrifice 2 level 1 creatures, which is probably going to be the Infected Survivor and the Zombie Soldier. Now he'll get a zombie token off of Infested Survivor and Flesh Sculptor's ability, and he sacrifices one of the zombie tokens. Now this is an interesting position that Sonneillion's in. He could... Well, we'll see what he has before I make any kind of... He could do this, he could do that. Let's see what he's got before I make any kind of assumptions. Because you know what they say about assumptions. So he's got a Haldiri Rider and another Venerated Unicorn. Haldiri Rider is another one of those good cards that doesn't see enough play in my book. So he's going to sacrifice it, lessen the amount of damage that the Rider is going to do to him. Both creatures are still exhausted from combat. He's going to send back one of his Venerated Unicorns and get a Shrine. He's going to play it for card draw. Nope, the corruption level. Are we going to see... I thought we were going to see a Succubus there, but he must want... Oh, this level enables both Fae of Charms and Succubus. Or Fae of Charm. Charm's Charm. Same difference. He plays that. This is going to be a pretty big turn for Vortex. He's going to attack with it. He's going to attack out, and he's going to take his opponent's Flesh Sculptor and swing in for 2, 4, 6, 8. Now he did that because he either forced his opponent to block with the Flesh Sculptor, or block the Flesh Sculptor and lose his token making and another creature, or let the damage through, which is a pretty smart move. So it's 10. Sonneillion's at 10. Vortex is at 15. We'll see what happens next. Now he's got 3, 5, 7 damage that Vortex can't block because he doesn't have a creature fast enough to. But Vortex does have board control, hand advantage, and kind of the better creatures in one sense. Ooh. Although that just kind of changed around. But Sonneillon has completely committed to the board. He has nothing left in hand. Ooh, an Enchanted Spring. But sends back the Venerated Unicorn, gets the Corruption Shrine. Does he play the Enchanted Spring? Nope, he goes with the Corruption Shrine. He probably plays the Succubus here, unless he really wants to make his opponent sacrifice something and pretty much get a zombie. So I don't think he wants to do that. The Succubus would make it 11-7. So the Succubus is going to give a 3-life swing, and he gives everything swift and attacks out, or swings out. Sonneillon can block one place. Alright, so he's going to trade there, and he's going to Plague Vermin away the Mesmerizing Spirit. So that is just enough to stave off lethal. He blocks the Succubus instead of the Mesmerizing Spirit, because he would have lost if he didn't. And that interaction is going to give Sonneillon enough zombies to win the game. Alright, so that was Sonneillon versus Vortex. Sonneillon advances to the semifinals of the tournament. People were in the last couple rounds. we'll soon be crowning ourselves our first champion when it comes to Spellweaver. This is the first tournament we've ever done, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, thumbs up, comment, subscribe, the whole 9 yards, everything you can do to support Spellweaver, support me, it also helps support the game. And as always, guys, may the cards rise to meet you and bring good RNG to your enemies' enemies.